Good morning, everyone. Thank you for welcoming us here. So I am Elsa Zavoda, Senior Vice President of Vision Rehabilitation Services at Vision Loss Alliance of New Jersey. We're located in Morris Plains, New Jersey. We are the largest nonprofit serving adults with vision loss and blindness. We work collaboratively with the New Jersey Commission for the Blind, but they are the state-funded entity that provides service. So we are both very useful resources for you or for anyone you know that has vision loss and blindness. Feel free to reach out to me afterwards. Lisa or Diana can connect you to us and we can share a little bit more about our programs at Vision Loss Alliance. We also do, obviously, outreach presentations like I am here today. We are going to be sharing about home safety and fall prevention. One thing to mention that's really important for you to know, someone with vision loss or blindness, it's a continuum. It can be all different levels of vision loss. Lighting will help someone with vision loss, but it may not help someone with total blindness. So just things to keep in mind that it is a continuum. There's all levels, and vision loss can affect people in different ways. Some people have difficulty with central vision loss. If you've ever heard of age-related macular degeneration, that's one example. But age-related macular degeneration or Stargardt's macular degeneration, which is a juvenile form of the disease, affects central vision. What does that mean? Difficulty seeing colors, details, the food on their plate, print in front of them, recognizing faces, recognizing food items, product items around the home. So being able to see details in front of them can be very challenging. Folks with those conditions who don't have other eye conditions may generally be able to see around them, so they may not need a travel cane or a guide dog to be able to maneuver because they have the peripheral vision to do so. In any case of vision loss, safety can be an issue. Very easy to miss a step or miss a curb or not see something because of contrast situations or poor lighting. So just know that safety can become an issue no matter what the eye condition is. And then you have eye conditions such as retinitis pigmentosa, glaucoma, where someone's going to have more difficulty seeing around them. They might see your face. They might see the food on their plate. They might even be able to still see small print, but they can't see the big picture. They can't see the whole room. They can't see details around them. So safety is even a bigger implication for individuals with these eye conditions. And then you have a condition called diabetic retinopathy, and that is kind of like a Swiss cheese effect, where any parts of the visual system can be damaged or affected. It could be seen centrally in front of them or peripherally around them. So just a very basic guideline for you to know. So if you're talking to someone and they say, I have this eye condition, you can already put in your mind, okay, this might mean da 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 da, just to have an idea. But a lot of the strategies we talk with you today are going to carry over to many people and be able to be very supportive of them for maintaining safety and independence in their home. So I'm going to start with talking about lighting and contrast, which are more visual strategies. Someone does still have to have enough vision to detect lighting and contrast. So you do want to use these strategies. And then I'm going to pass over to Paula to talk a lot about tactile strategies, auditory strategies, things that can be helpful to someone who does not use their vision as much for lighting and contrast. And of course, anywhere else you want to pipe in on that, because you have a lot of wealth of expertise beyond me.
Yeah, lighting doesn't mean anything to me. I'm totally blind, so you have to learn to use your your senses a little bit. But there's always something out there to help, and that's the one thing I want to pass on to everybody. As you start losing your vision, or you get for years, I started losing my vision when I was 24. Didn't totally become blind till I was 62. And I struggled because I didn't know what was out there. I never had any help. So whenever you have any kind of problem, reach out to someone. Elsa, me. No matter what silly it is, you say, I can't do this. You can do it. You just have to learn how to do it. You can do everything you can, but drive a car. You just have to learn to deal with it, is basically what I'm saying. But reach out. That's the most important thing.
I think that's such an important thing, is that there is help for everyone and there are solutions for everyone. Adequate lighting is really important. You want to have good room lighting. They call it ambient room lighting, which is kind of what we have in here right now, overhead lighting that lights the room. You don't want to have any shadowy areas in the home. You don't want somebody sitting in the dark. They're not saving their vision. It's not like a bank that you can save your vision by sitting in the dark. If someone does have usable vision, they should make use of lighting in their home. Turning on lights in each room that they enter. Adding a night light in hallways, bathrooms, and bedrooms. Motion sensor ones are great so that you don't have to get up and flick them all on. Monitoring for glare is really important. Adjustable blinds are really helpful. So if a individual needs help putting up adjustable blinds or shears or something to block some of that sunlight, that's really important. Some people love sunlight and some people find it really glary in their home. Everybody's individual, so it's important for you to know that. We can give general lighting recommendations, but we can't give specific lighting recommendations. Somebody might like fluorescent lights, and I know many people who don't like fluorescent lights because they're very glary. So LED is another option. You do have to watch, though, as you add wattage to any lighting situation, you're also increasing the risk for glare. And glare can be very debilitating. You just made that comment about feeling like you're in Miami in the bright sun.
Right.
Can you
I
describe?
wish I was there.
I think we are right now outside. Can you talk a little bit about the impact of glare for you? Do you have glare impact you?
Not anymore. Now,
Okay.
Now I'm just completely in Florida.
Okay. All right. So some people will tell you, even if they have very low vision, they're still having glare. They might still see light. They might still be affected by glare. So just be mindful to ask them, do you experience glare? Wherever you can in the home, minimize glare. As I talked about, adjustable blinds are so key. Also moving TV screens, computer screens away from light sources that are directly on them can be helpful for people as well because they can get washed out by lighting.
You can get smart plugs, smart light bulbs, and if you have an Alexa or on your phone, I have them all programmed because I never know that it's nighttime. So people think I'm not home. So I have my lights programmed to come on at sundown and comes up at sunrise. You can get stuff that will program all the lights, so you don't even have to go around and turn any lights on and off. You can program them the way you want.
Yeah, and also your thermostat and so many other things. Well, I'm going to have you talk about that a little bit more later. Do you use smart technology like Alexa a lot?
I use Nest thermostat. I have it programmed to go up and down at certain hours, and if I want to change it, I just say, Nest, turn the thermostat up to 70, turn it down, whatever. It's all by voice.
Paula just reminded me, it's really important that you could set outside motion sensors on your lighting outside. So as you arrive home in the evening, that they come on for safety for you, for safety for others. Also to alert you if there's any movement outside your house. Once again, if you do have vision, or if you lived with any sighted family members, really good to have that motion sensor come on. So I want to talk about task lighting. Task lighting layers with overhead lighting. So overhead lighting is good for general moving through your environment, being able to have a general view of what's around you and see. But you need task lighting when you're specifically trying to look at something, whether it be your food, whether it be your mail, whether you're cooking a meal, doing any kind of food preparation. Having additional layered task lighting is really helpful. As light comes down from overhead, the intensity of it obviously is reduced by it gets down to where we are seated here from overhead. And the higher the ceilings, the more the light is going to reduce by the time it reaches down to where you are. So keep that in mind with higher ceilings in homes, that light degrades as it reaches down. So you definitely want to layer with task lighting. I'm going to put this up at a slight angle just so people can appreciate there's different colors of lighting. So there's like a warmer or there's a cooler setting for light. And then you can adjust the brightness, which is huge because some people might want the brightness all the way up. Some people might say, whoa, I'm getting a lot of glare off of that. So they want the brightness turned down a little bit. But putting lighting on top of things will help the residual vision, if there is residual vision, function as adequately as possible. Your central vision, the cells in the central part of your eye, respond to brighter lights as long as you're not getting glare. They function better in good light situations. So even as we normally age, adding a little extra light over something you're trying to look at, sometimes like a menu in a restaurant, I turn on the torch on my cell phone. I'm not embarrassed to do that. It makes it easier to see the menu. So just know that lighting can help you. And then low light is where our outer part of our eye functions better, our peripheral vision. So that's why it's important when we get up at night. That's what helps you find your way to the restroom in a lower light situation. I'm not one who's going to want to turn on all my lights and completely wake myself up at night as I go to use the restroom because I might have trouble getting back to sleep. So having some lighting, but if it's a little bit lower, they call it your rod cells versus your cone cells. They kick in and help you in those lower lighting situations. Now, lighting is not always stationary as being helpful. Sometimes you need portable options. There's a lot of portable options. This is a head-borne lamp that someone can wear around their head, and it angles down. So if it's on your head, this actually angles down. Can you actually do it for me? Because I'm trying to be ambidextrous here. It's not working so well. So Chris is going to demonstrate it. I think you have it. Do you have it? Yep, just flip it up. and then it angles down that top piece. So if you're doing food prep, then you can actually look down wherever Chris's eyes are going to go. The light will follow wherever he's looking, so he can put it at different angles. So it allows you to be mobile, even if someone has to take their dog out in the evening. They have a light source on their head. So it can be really helpful, very inexpensive. It's a $10 item from Home Depot or Lowe's, and it's called a headboard lamp, and it's very bright LED. That one's rechargeable. Some are battery operated. This is a light bar, which is really nice. Sometimes you see these at checkout at hardware stores, but what's nice is this is like a horizontal bar, so it literally will line up a whole line of text of print. And then, of course, little handheld flashlights. You can get them from the dollar store, the hardware store, and they have rechargeable ones. They have battery-operated ones. There's a lot of options for portable lighting. Think about the fact that lamps with shades around them are not always as functional, because a lot of the light gets lost within the lampshade. It looks very pretty and symmetrical, but they don't offer a lot of functional light. Directional task lighting, whether on a gooseneck or an adjustable arm, is much more functional. And a really key thing too is making sure bulbs are replaced when they go out. So that's where the volunteers, it's really helpful if you could go over and change some light bulbs. Making sure there's lighting over stairwells is really important. Going through the home with them when you do that safety assessment, making sure all the lights work in the home and outside of the home is really key. High contrast makes things easier to see. Contrast can be as simple as putting coffee into a white mug instead of a black mug, or a white cutting board versus a black cutting board. Cut the dark colored fruits, vegetables, items on the white, and then the light colored items on the dark cutting boards. You can get these from Target or any kind of store, Amazon. These are contrasting colored measuring cups. I also have a coordinating set of spoons. These came from Marshall's for $2.99. So you don't always have to spend a lot on things that could be really helpful for someone. I've bought a lot of things from the Dollar Tree. Of course, now it's the $1.25 tree. But I've bought a lot of items there that can be really helpful, like the black set versus the white set. Solid colored placemats can make a big difference on a contrasting colored tablecloth. Solid colored pillows at each end of the couch might make it easier for someone to see one end of the couch versus the other end of the couch. A dark colored mat near the shower entrance or the bathtub entrance that contrasts with the color of the surface of the bathtub or shower can be really helpful. Making sure it's non-skid, of course. Even using colored soap can be helpful. Colored toothpaste can be helpful versus white toothpaste on white bristles. So think about instituting color. There's also vinyl tape, which I didn't grab. It is in my bag. But vinyl electrical tape, you can get like a 4-pack from like Walmart. If someone can see color, vinyl tape, it's really nice. You can apply it to different things. It's flat, of course, but they have to see color to benefit from it. But it's removable and it doesn't leave a real sticky residue. But I've put vinyl tape, green on the start button in the microwave, red on the stop button, yellow on that 30-second button. So sometimes vinyl tape, or marking a remote control or a phone with a little piece of tape, marking outlets, marking light switches. Red is a color, if somebody still sees any color, that tends to be the color that stands out. Hence why emergency signs and vehicles tend to be red.
You mentioned the measuring cups.
Yes.
If you have those metal ones, a quarter teaspoon, half a teaspoon, and stuff like that. If you ever try to pour something in that, you overflow. All you got to do is bend it, and then you scoop the liquid out.
Like a little ladle, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mine are all bent.
Also, they do make Braille measuring cups and spoons too. Our cooking instructor at Vision Loss Alliance uses Braille measuring cups and spoons, so know that they exist as well.
Or the bump dots.
And the bump dots. I'm going to actually pass it to you to start talking about tactile strategies with everybody, and we have some examples here.
I use bump dots like crazy. They come in all different sizes and shapes and everything, and they come in a little sheet of paper. You take them out and you just put them on different things. So they stick. Like I use them on my medicine bottles. Like my morning bottles have 1 bump dot. My evening ones have 2 bump dots. On my microwave, I have a bump dot where you start it. I have it on my washing machine and my dryer. So I just can move the dials till I feel the bump dots. And the bump dots come in different sizes, so that makes a difference. Because if I use a small one and then a medium and a large one, then I know that's small, medium, and large as I'm using stuff. It's a good thing to identify things in your house.
And different shapes as well. They have
Oh,
like
yeah.
square ones now too.
Square ones, big ones. You can get a variety pack,
Mhm.
which is nice because they're all. I sometimes use them on my. I don't anymore because I don't use a keyboard. But they have real tiny ones that you can put on your keyboard if you want to start each row or something. So there is unbelievable amount of sizes for them. So whatever you think you can identify, use a bump dot and rubber bands. I go through rubber bands like crazy. um, I also have way around tags.
Talk about that too.
Oh my gosh. Rubber bands. Like in my shower, I have soap, I have shampoo and conditioner. So I have no rubber band around my soap. I have one rubber band around my shampoo, and I have two rubber bands around my conditioner. I mentioned way around tags. That's another thing to identify stuff. I think I have one on.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I have this little button that I sew onto my clothes. All I have to, and I program it. I put my phone on and I program it, and it tells me I've got a long sleeve J. Jill shirt. You can put anything you want on it, and then once it's on there, I just take my phone and put it next to it, and it'll tell me what I put on it. So if I want to match. I don't want to look funny. I have a problem trying to identify anything, so I either have bump dots, tags, or clips all over my house, but at least I can find everything. I know if I'm going to go to the dishwasher, I'm going to be looking for a bump dot. I might not remember what size is there, but I can know that there's a bump dot there to hit the start button. And then if I'm trying to look for something and like my medicine bottles, I'll fill around. I don't remember which is which, but I know there's one dot means something, and oh, here's a second dot. I know that's evening. So it's not that you have to remember everything. You just might have to remember the size. But once you find one, it should register. Oh, wait, there should be more here. They're washable. They go in the washing machine. I have them that I put a rubber band, and it's in the freezer, which will tell me this is pork chops, this is steak, this is something I don't want to eat. They can go almost anywhere. And I use the bump dots on top of my spices, and I usually buy the same size spice so that when it's empty, I take the lid off and I put the new lid on the new spice. But that's on there, and that little clip tells me exactly what it is when I hold my phone up to it. You have to figure out what you need or what you have trouble with. And if you really can't do it yourself, get someone to help you. But most of the stuff is you need to know what you're doing and where you're putting it. If someone else does it for you, you're not going to remember what they did. So you really have to do it or be with someone when they're doing it. So you can explain what you need and how you want it.
Yeah, that's a really important point Paula just mentioned. The person needs to be the one directing what they want, and then you would be assisting them with setting it up. It's got to make sense for them. Otherwise, like you said, you won't remember it.
You won't remember it. Yeah. You want to do it the way you need it done. And it might not seem right to them, but if it's going to help me and I'm going to remember it, let's do it this way.
Mm-hmm. I did a home visit with an OT, and her client had all these bags of medications, a lot of duplicates too, in the bags. So we went through them together, and we actually had her take notes on her Alexa so that she could say, Alexa, this medication has one rubber band around it. This medication has two rubber bands around it. This medication has a round bump dot on the top. So she could say to Alexa, hey, Alexa, which medication is my whatever it is? And Alexa will repeat back that note to you. So Alexa can be really helpful with that kind of stuff too.
Alexa is my friend.
Alexa can be a really good friend.
Have Script Talk. If you have more than one medicine, you might not know which it is. They all feel the same. They all come the same way. You can get your pharmacist to put something called Script Talk on the bottom.
These are RFID labels, near field communication. That's how it operates. They are put on the bottom of the bottle. So it's a white sticker with some black writing on it. I mean, you really can't even feel that it's there.
It's hard.
And then you either hold it over Script Talk, the device, or actually it works with any cell phones that are able to do near field communication. So you can hover over the speaker part at the top of your cell phone. It will also read it as well through the app. This is a very simple device that just reads near field communication labels specific to Script Talk. So your privacy is protected with it too, because it does not connect to the internet.
You just put the bottle on and push the button.
Medication. Amoxicillin, 250 milligram tablets.
It's free to you and it's free to the pharmacist. I know quite a few pharmacists that do it already. It's a handy device. It's very safe. I feel very secure taking all my medicine.
Can we talk about clear pathways, keeping walkways safe? Visual clutter makes it hard to find the things you're looking for visually, but physical clutter increases the risk of tripping and injury. Making sure you reduce clutter in your home. Keeping pathways open and clear throughout the home, making sure there's enough room for you to get through if you use an assistive device such as a cane or a walker, a travel cane, a guide dog, anything that's maneuvering through your house, making sure there's physical space around you to maneuver safely through your home. Making sure floors are free of bags, shoes, cords, just being mindful of anything that you could possibly trip over. If you have an animal in your home, putting a bell on an animal or some type of a collar with a jingle can be really helpful just to hear them coming. Even doing that with young children in the home. If there's young children, kids, grandkids, putting little bells on their shoes can help make it a little bit easier to find where they are and then figure out what they might be up to.
I need to put a bell on my husband.
You could put a little bell on him. Remove or secure loose rugs, any kind of throw rugs, okay? Making sure that they're tacked down. No furled edges where it's starting to curl up a little bit, tripping hazard. Anything that can bunch up. I've gone into homes where I've seen walkway carpets on top of other carpets, and you know what happens there? You're trying to protect your carpet underneath. You end up with bunched up carpet and major tripping hazard there. So minimizing how many throw rugs are in the home, watching for thresholds that might be too high. Maybe they could be replaced with a lower, flatter saddle. But tactily going from different floor surfaces in the home helps somebody orient in their home to what room they might be in as well. Keeping furniture in the same place. Don't move anything in the home of somebody with vision loss without telling. If there's going to be a redecoration in the home or a redesign or furniture being moved, it needs to be a family discussion, okay? Don't move things because you think it's better for that person. Have a discussion about it. And I really want to know why you just put out a giggle.
Well, I switched the furniture around, and of course I was watching TV or reading a book and fell asleep, and I got up and I couldn't get out of the room because I forgot I moved the furniture.
Oh, you did it to yourself.
I did it to myself. Okay, now this should be the hallway. Why is there a wall here? I was all turned around. I really was. It took me a while.
Don't move other people's things. That's really an important key message. Even at Vision Loss Alliance, on Thursdays, we do a holistic wellness program. There's 40 people that come in, all with different levels of vision loss and blindness. And one of the things we always say, don't touch someone else's stuff. If it's in the way, please let that person know to move it, because it can be very disarming and can also increase anxiety in someone who can't find their things or their belongings.
I go on the theory, don't put it down, put it away.
Put it away. Thank you. You brought me right to the next thing. That's put it away.
Yeah.
Anyone who touches anything in the home, put it away.
Put it away.
But you also put it away. If you're the one with vision loss, put it away. Take the time to put it away. Tell your family members, put it away. Put the scissors back in the caddy.
Yeah.
Put the phone back in the
is-
carriage.
That
right?
is so frustrating. Yeah. I spend lots of time searching.
Put everything back where it belongs. Keep it in the room it's most likely to be used in. Store frequently used items within easy reach. Keep things that are linked together, like if you have a hairbrush and a comb, keep them together. Maybe put them in a little caddy that's in the bathroom, and that way it's got your toothpaste, it's got your toothbrush, it's got your cup, it's got, your hairbrush and comb, and it's your stuff that no one else is going to touch. And that way, if you need to move the caddy from one space to another, then you have that to use, and it just keeps it all combined together, because you really don't want to be mistaking your toothbrush for someone else's. None of us do.
I put a rubber band on my toothbrush, so I'm not using my husband's.
As much as you love somebody, you do not want to use their toothbrush.
No.
Close doors at all time or open them fully. Do not leave doors partially open, as it can create a safety issue. Doors to other places like basements, close them at all times. We had a participant go out to California to visit her children, and the door was open to the basement, and she unfortunately did not know and fell down the basement steps. Okay, so really important that doors are closed.
Close your closet doors, your kitchen cabinets, close your oven door.
Dishwasher door.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Drawers, close your drawers, close everything. Push chairs in when you get up. Dishwasher, I put things in it and I close it. Even if I'm still washing dishes, it's closed, because if I turn and I'm not paying attention, I'm going to land right on top of my dishwasher. It's literally right there next to my sink. And you know what? It doesn't have anything to do with vision loss all the time. It's called inattention. Just because our minds are racing with so many thoughts, we are all at risk for harming ourselves.
And doors for the dishwasher and oven are expensive.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you don't want to become a Grimm's fairy tale falling into your oven. So just be mindful of that. Whenever I get up from a table, I push my chair in. And have everyone around you do that. Model that for your family members. You don't want to just tell them what to do. You need to be every person needs to be doing it themselves. That's really, really important. We're going to talk about bathroom safety next, putting grab bars in somebody's bathroom and making sure they're in properly, putting them near the entrance to the bathroom, the shower. If it's a bathtub, I like a diagonal one across the back wall that goes from high to low. Gosh forbid somebody does fall, they have it to pull up on. And then if it's high by the shower head, they can use it to balance to stand. Putting non-slip mats inside and outside of the bathtub. Some people even wear water shoes in the shower just so that they don't slip on their feet in the shower. Shower chairs can be really helpful to put in there. Getting an appropriate shower chair, not the lawn chair from the backyard. That's going to get all soft and plasticky with the hot water. They are not safe options to use. It needs to be a legitimate piece of durable medical equipment from a medical supply store.
The store guys do an excellent job of installing these grab bars.
And putting them in properly, which is so key.
Proper way in the proper place.
Handheld shower head can be really helpful too. That way, especially if somebody is sitting, because otherwise the water's just going to come down on your forehead. That's not so fun. So then you have a handheld shower and you can kind of use it where you need to get to all your body areas with a little more ease. Cooking safety, staying safe and confident in the kitchen. Paul and I were just talking about this morning. This is Easy Alert fire extinguisher spray.
Oh, right.
You can get a fire blanket too. I don't know about any of you, but I'm in the 5th decade of my life. I still haven't taken the fire extinguisher in any house I've ever lived in out of the closet and pulled the hose out and pointed and shot it anywhere. I've never done that. I probably could do it if I had to, but I don't really want to think of having to do that in an emergency when I still have never done it.
I'm sure mine's expired.
Oh, I'm sure. I've been in my house for 15 years and it's still in the closet when we bought the house.
I should put that on the chore list.
Check the date of fire extinguishers, making sure the little plastic safety tag is cut off and ready to use. You don't really want to be looking for the scissor at that time either. So this is fire extinguisher spray. It's on Amazon. It's like a $13 item. I mean, even if this is something that the organization wanted to have in stock to give to clients or recommend for them to purchase, whatever works best. But it puts out grease, fabric, trash, and electric fires. You hold the can 3 to 4 feet away from the fire. You point and shoot. Now listen, folks. If it's a big fire and the curtains are starting to catch on fire, it's starting to spread, don't try to stand there with this little can and put out that fire. Get out of your home. This is for the small little fire that's starting on the stove or ours was a toaster oven situation. So having it ready just in case of an emergency. I leave mine on the counter next to the stove all the time, so it's there to grab and use. This one's called First Alert Easy Fire Spray. If you use it once, don't try to use it again. They say throw it out and get a new one because gosh forbid lightning strikes twice. You don't want to run out of fire extinguisher spray. When you're cooking, Paul already talked about tactile markers. Bump dots are really key for for your stove. Okay, the oven might be digital. It's really important for you to know with your oven when you hit the start button for your oven, which could have a bump dot on it. If it's digital, most ovens preheat at 350, but you need to know how your oven works. So you might need somebody might need somebody with vision to help them kind of figure that out. And then each time they press the up arrow, and there could be a bump by the up arrow, hearing a beep. Does it go up 5 degrees? Does it go up 10 degrees? You need to know your own oven. So we can only give you general ideas. You can learn to operate a digital appliance like an oven independently. It's just learning to know where those buttons are and then listening to the beeps.
And
so
turn your burners off when you're done.
Yes, and you know what? Guilty right here. Last week I got called in the kitchen like a child by my husband. I had left it on simmer and we ate dinner. We washed the dishes. We went to watch TV. He came in and it was still on simmer. Yeah, I got in trouble for that. So just pay attention to that. Always turn everything off as soon as you're taking food off the stove. Pot handles should be facing outwards towards the countertops, not inwards because they can get hot, right?
Yes.
Especially if another burner is on. So keep that in mind. They also make silicone pot holders that you can put over handles if handles are getting hot. And then, of course, Chris can hold up a long silicone oven mitt. They don't really fit anybody. They're really big. But they do cover your forearm. And whenever I've ever burned myself getting in and out of things in and out of the oven, it's always been my forearm. So this covers and protects your forearm. And then this is an oven rack pull to pull the oven rack out and push it back in. It's called an oven rack pull. This is a $5 item on Amazon.
Great.
So you pull it out here and then you push it in That way, remember, don't pull your oven rack out too far with food on it because you don't want everything to tip over. But you can usually pull it out about halfway, and you'll feel your oven rack kind of stop. So that's where you don't want to keep pulling it. When you feel it come to that stop, that's where you want to stop pulling it and get your food item out before it completely tips out of there. Make sure, ladies, that we don't wear our poofy sleeves when we're cooking. We don't want the poofy bell sleeves, all the pretty blouses. I wear functional clothes when I'm cooking, even when I'm hosting holidays. I'll wear closer knitted garments, that are more fitted at my wrist, that don't have poofy sleeves. You could pull them up to your elbow. Obviously, just keep that in mind what you're wearing. Watch hair. Obviously, if you're leaning over your stove for any reason, that it does not get, that you don't risk of burning your hair. Also, they make silicone edge guards. It almost looks like twisted licorice to me.
And when you put them on the end of
You put them on the edge of your oven racks, both of your oven racks, and you can cut it to size, and they're long, tubular, and they're cut open on one side, so they actually
slip on.
Yeah, they clip on, but they're silicone, so they can handle being in the oven, and it's just on the edge of your oven racks.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't have those yet to bring with me, but they're pretty cool and also very inexpensive. Let's talk about knife safety. When you're using knives, I didn't bring my knife actually, but you can use a knife with a sheath if you want to. You can use a knife block. If you have a drawer that you put your knives in, put your knives in a knife block in the drawer. They do make ones that go in the drawer if you don't use a knife block on your countertop, and you can slide the knives in. Wash knives immediately after using them.
And dry them and put them away.
And dry them and
on
put
the
them
counter.
away. If you think you are going to use it in the next few minutes, take it and put it behind the sink for a few minutes if you are going to use it again. If you're not, wash it and put it away.
You can tell I have someone in the house that doesn't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Knives can be really dangerous. You don't want a knife drawer with knives just rattling around in there. You don't want knives, sticking up in a drying rack and you don't know that it's there and you go to grab it by the blade. Just put it right away.
And if you're putting them in the dishwasher, put the sharp end down.
Yes. When you're cutting, you can use the claw grip when cutting with your fingers curled underneath where you push down when you're cutting food items. And Chris is kind of modeling that. You're less likely to cut your knuckles and your fingertips. You want to use sharp blades too and not dull. We tend to injure ourselves more with a dull knife than a sharp knife because you're starting to saw through things. And then Chris is going to also show you they make a knife guard that you can use. That would be on the hand that's not cutting. It looks like a little shield where you put your fingers in it and you push down on the food item. And that way your fingers are completely out of the way of where you're cutting. This is an aluminum mesh glove. It doesn't feel like Brillo. It's not soft and cozy. Of course not, because it's got aluminum mesh in it. But you wear it on the non-dominant hand that you're not cutting with. That's another option. You put the glove on and you hold the food that you're cutting, and it protects that hand from getting cut in any way. But you only wear one. You don't need to wear it on the hand that's using the knife. So keep that in mind. So we talked about cutting boards. They make different kinds of cutting boards. You can use contrast and colored ones, or if contrast doesn't benefit from you, just use a non-slip kind of a good quality cutting board. And maybe also considering separating meat from anything produce that you're cutting as well for safety. Clear and organize your workspace before you start any food preparation. Have it organized well. Make sure your counters are clear. Pouring liquids. They make the liquid level indicator. You want to talk about that?
It's got two prongs, and you put the prongs on the cup or the glass, whatever you're doing, and you pour it up. And as soon as it reaches the level, it'll make a noise so you know to stop.
And in case you're wondering, the prongs go in the drink. The battery stays outside the cup, right? If you're pouring a cold beverage for yourself, you could also just stick your finger over the lip of the beverage, right? If you're pouring a hot beverage for yourself, we don't recommend putting your finger in there. That's where that liquid level indicator comes in handy. It'll stop an inch from the top and leave you a little room for milk or whatever else you want to add to your coffee. Bailey's, whatever.
Get this one from. Is that Amazon too?
Yeah, or Independent Living Aids, Maxi Aids. There's a few catalog companies, LS&S, Independent Living Aids, ILA, or Maxi Aids. And you can contact those companies and get catalogs sent to you, or you can shop online on their websites. Independent Living Aids and then Maxi Aid. They do charge shipping, so keep that in mind. If you're going to buy some items, get a few things to make the shipping worthwhile. They have something, which I haven't gotten it yet, but I've heard about it. You put it in your pan, and it makes noise when your water or whatever ingredients is boiling. And if you're cooking pasta, you could use like a double boiler or something that's got a colander or something inside of it, like a strainer, so that you could just pull the pasta straight out. We don't want you taking hot water over to the sink to dump it out. We'd rather you wait for the water to cool down, or you can put it on a pot holder or a dish towel. And if you have a continuous space from your stove to your sink, I do in my home, where I could actually slide it across the countertop. Consider talking or beeping timers to prevent overcooking. I use my stove timer when I'm boiling an egg, or else that egg's going to stay boiling for a really long time. I use my Alexa timers. I use my Siri timers. I've got timers going off all day long for me. And then you have to remember, back to Tracy's comment before, which timer was for which thing. So you really need to remember when you're setting multiple timers, what are they for? If you can label them, try to label them. Like set a 10-minute timer for da-da-da-da-da versus a 15-minute timer for da-da-da-da-da. Wipe spills immediately. If you think you spilled something on the floor, put a dish towel down there, or go get your Swiffer that picks up liquid, the one with the absorbent pad underneath, and get it up off the floor. If you have low vision, you might not see water on the floor. And if you have no vision, you're not going to see water on the floor. So if you think you spilled, heard you spilled, clean it up. Be really mindful about that. Keep pets out of the kitchen while you're cooking, and consider wearing non-slip shoes when you are cooking. Don't walk away when you're cooking. Don't also be on the phone. Don't also be watching TV. Don't change the laundry while you're cooking. That's me. Burned my salmon because I went to change the laundry, forgot the salmon was in the oven. Stay with the cooking. Listen for the sounds, the smells. Oh, yeah, you too, huh? It happens to all of us. You think you're this great multitasking capable person, and then you're like, whoops. Emergency preparedness, let's talk about that for a little while. Keeping a charged phone nearby. If you do have residual vision, having a rechargeable lantern nearby, or flashlights, or battery operated with fresh batteries ready to go in them. My in-laws got something really cool from Costco. It was a night light that plugs in. But if the power were to go out, the flashlights would immediately come on that were being recharged at all time with that motion sensor nightlight, and they could grab the flashlights off the wall. There's also different kinds of lanterns you can get that are rechargeable or battery operated, just to have extra light. If you do use residual vision, to have that in an emergency, have power banks for your cell phones and other devices that are, if you hear the weather's coming, make sure you charge all that stuff. Charge your power banks so that you can use your cell phone with the power bank. Charge your flashlights if you use lights, as I mentioned. Have a large button phone if that's helpful to you installed in the home. It's very inexpensive. You can get a $20 large button phone if that makes it easier. You can get voice activated assistants. You can obviously use Siri to call people, or whatever other voice assistant on whether other phone system that you're using. Program emergency contacts in advance. Having on your person your medical conditions, your medications, medications that you use. Pack up medicines in case there's severe weather, just so if you need to get out, you have your medicines with you. Keeping a list of that on your person, but also on your refrigerator. If someone enters the home and there's an emergency, that way they can contact emergency people. They know your health conditions and they see the list of your medications. Consider a fall alert device if possible for someone who has a tendency or risk of falls. Also, they have the pendants that they can wear to call for help. Also, I tell people, keep your cell phone near you at all times in case you fall, because it tends to happen in the bathroom or somewhere else where you may not be able to access getting to a phone. You can actually have Alexa set up to call 911 as well. But just remember, don't accidentally say those words, or have a TV show say those words.
Be careful, because I was on a Zoom call, and we mentioned to call that number she just mentioned, and my house phone rang, wanted to know if I was okay, and I said I was, and they called back on my cell phone, just double checking that I really was okay.
Can you talk about how you use Alexa? Because I actually put a whole little Alexa section in here.
Oh, really? Oh, I use Alexa for everything. I have reminders on Alexa. I tell Alexa, remind me at 6:30 a.m., take medicine. 6:30 at night, I do that. If I have a phone call or something I have to do, I put a reminder on it. If I'm cooking, I'll set an alarm. Alexa, set an alarm for 5 minutes. Some people don't like it. I don't mind it. I ask it questions all day long. If I want to know a statistic, you can ask it stuff. It's a very good little device, and it's not expensive. You can get those little dots. I think they're like $30 or something like that. So they're not expensive.
There's also smart apps on your phone. We won't get too far into the weeds on this, and I know we're getting to the end of our time presenting, so we just have a couple more things to talk about. Smart apps can be really helpful. One of my favorite apps is called Seeing AI. We call it the Swiss Army knife for low vision, right, and blindness.
Yeah.
Do you use Seeing AI?
Oh, all the time. Reads my mail. That's what I mainly use it for, Seeing AI. And I'll hold my phone over it and say, open Seeing AI, and I swipe it, and it'll read my document so that I don't get too frustrated because I can't see it at all. It does other things. It does read products, and it does do money. In fact, I have an easy app for money. It's called EYE Note, Note. It's so fast and easy. It's a very easy app. It doesn't cost any money, but it'll read all your money for you.
So I'm going to show you one of the cool features about Seeing AI with accessing product labels. Everything it sees, it starts reading. So it'll start reading this document. So I'm going to let's do that first. We'll have it read this document, the page that we're on right now, and then I'm going to go to a label just so you see how well it works.
Hands-free voice commands reduce the need to read small print, handle devices, or navigate screens. Smart apps for identifying items and reading labels. Helpful tools for recognizing objects, products, and text in the home.
It works great for reading a menu in the restaurant. It's an app. It's free. It's called Seeing, SEEING, space AI. It's put out by Microsoft Corporation. It's available not only on Apple platform. They finally released it on the Android platform about 2 years ago. It was very long awaited. So it's a really helpful app. It's free. I'm going to show you product identification because I think that's a really cool feature.
First alert Tundra fire extinguisher.
Now, you don't have to see it as a person with vision loss. If you hover around a product and there's a barcode in the database, it will snap the picture as soon as it detects the barcode. And here's another cool feature about it. It not only will tell you what it is if it's in the database, there's a more info button at the bottom. So if I hit the more info button, now you're going to get to hear all sorts of goodies.
Fire extinguisher. Easy to use. No need to shake can. Spray in any position.
All the
Discard
directions
after
on the
use.
banner now
Easy
here, too.
cleanup.
Cell phones can be used by anyone with any level of vision loss or blindness. We actually have a program at Vision Loss Alliance teaching people with no vision at all how to access their phones. All the technology and accessibility is actually built into the phone, but it's learning how to operate the phone. You're going to talk about Be My Eyes, and then I wanted to talk about talking books, and then I think we'll
Okay.
wrap up.
Yeah.
Okay?
I use an app called Be My Eyes. It'll help you do anything, and it's a live person talking to you. You just move your camera around, ask them what you need, and then you're done. I drop my earbud on the floor, and I use my phone and walk around till they find it. It's all volunteers, but you can set up your own people. You can set up to 20 people as an individual Be My Eyes person.
Any one of us can be volunteers on Be My Eyes. You just sign up as a volunteer and you'll get a call to help somebody with vision loss who's asking a question somewhere in the world who speaks English.
I can call it in the morning and ask him if do I match today? No, you don't. Okay. What doesn't match? Or you have two different shoes on or something like that. But it's a good app. It'll help you do anything. And it's a free app.
So we want to talk about a few resources, and I know we're getting to the end of the hour. HadleyHelps.org. It's on your handout on the end. It's really helpful.
Yeah.
All sorts of online workshops, right? And
Yeah.
resources for adapting to vision loss, learning technology, connecting with peers.
They have all kinds of classes. You can do crafting. You can do book review. They have tons of stuff. And that you sign up, you can do whatever class you want to. They'll give you a list of all the different classes, and the classes are recorded. So if you miss it, you can listen to it. The recording only stays there, I think, for 30 days or 2 weeks, depending on the course. But they do have a podcast.
And free, once again. You do have to register to use Hadley. Just they like to track you, the traffic that comes onto their website, what things people are accessing for grant funding purposes. If you don't log in, it'll let you watch it for about 30 seconds. It'll say you need to log in if you want to keep watching this. So you do need to log in. But they might contact you afterwards, some professionals in the blindness industry community, and they'll say, do you have any questions? Is there anything we can help you with? So they're a really helpful resource. There's also the New Jersey Talking Book and Braille Center. You can have a talking book player sent to you. Anyone who's a healthcare professional can actually be the certifying authority. It doesn't have to be a physician. It can be a physical therapist, occupational therapist that can sign off for a client. It gets mailed in, and then the person can either get the talking book player with cartridges mailed to them with multiple books on them, or they can download an app called BARD, Book Audio Reading Download, and they can start getting audiobooks for free without paying anything. And then once again, we mentioned Vision Loss Alliance. We empower adults with vision loss through education, support, and training in independent living and assistive technology. We are the largest nonprofit organization serving people with vision loss. We are located in Morris Plains. We have center-based programs, virtual programs, and we also do low vision occupational therapy, both in the clinic and the home. That's covered through Medicare and most major insurances. And we are very present in Bergen, Hudson, Passaic, Morris counties with occupational therapists that go into the home providing services through an individual's healthcare insurance. And then the New Jersey Commission for the Blind is a state-funded service. And anyone who's a resident in the state of New Jersey who qualifies based on visual acuity or field requirements can participate. They provide rehabilitation, education, vocational rehab services, independent living, orientation and mobility training, learning how to use the travel cane or guide dog, navigating the community. They do need a letter filled out, like a form filled out by somebody's eye care provider to determine if someone qualifies for services. They are a very large agency that covers the state. So I always tell people if you are calling for services, you might need to call a few times. They call it opening your case with a caseworker. And then the process starts from there in order to get services. But every state has a state commission for the blind. Anyone should consider pursuing that because they're entitled to it.
This is Harper. Harper gave me my independence back. I was a very active person, and as I couldn't do anything, I got angry. But now with Harper, I do almost anything. In fact, give me a challenge and I'll take it. I've done rock climbing, hiking in New Hampshire. I've done all kinds of stuff. My new challenge is a 10K. But with Harper, the seeing eye dogs, they stay with in a breeding station for 8 weeks, and they learn all kinds of sounds and noises, so they're not afraid of it. Then they go to a puppy raiser for a year. Then they go back to the seeing eye school for 4 months for training, and then they're matched up with a person. I applied for it, and they came out, and I agreed to get my dog. They said I could handle a dog. I wasn't lazy or a couch potato, so I got my dog. Now I have my dog, Harper, 99.9%. She's right and I'm wrong. She's trained to, when I'm out walking and I will get to any corner, she will stop. If I say forward and there's a car there, she won't go. If I'm walking the sidewalks and there's anything in the way, whether it be a garbage can, a tree limb, or anything in the way, she'll get me around it. I walked down the street and I went down recently and I went and came back and she wouldn't move. Oh, we just came this way. What are you doing? So I made her go. And of course, I put my right foot out and my left foot right in a big puddle because the sprinkler was on. So she said, I told you so. But if we're going to a store, in and out or anything, or even the house, I just have to say inside or outside, and she'll get me right to the doorknob so I know what's there. If I'm going to an elevator, if I say elevator, she'll put her nose right under the button so I know how to push the button. When I get inside, she doesn't know Braille, so I just have to guess. If we're getting to a staircase, if it's going up, she'll put her right foot on the staircase so I know it's going up. If we're going down, she stands still until I reach for the handlebar, and if I can't find it, I'll say right till I find it. Those are just a few of the things she does for me. Like I said, I'm not afraid to get out in the world because I know she's going to get me there safely. She does not take me places. Like I say, I have to tell her where I'm going. I go right, left, forward, backwards, whatever. I have a GPS that helps me get everywhere. That's real easy. I'm not saying she won't. Like if I'm at my grandson's and I say, Krispy Kreme, she goes right to the door because she knows we're going. But she can't get me there, but she knows that means going outside. And she does recognize the places that I go, the same place. Like she can get to my daughter's really. She lives in the neighborhood, but she will stop. But I do know she won't make a mistake getting there. And if we have made mistakes, but we manage. I only had to call the cops once. And that's because I was in a parking lot and I had, you know how you go through going down and there's that little ramp to get in the parking lot. Well, I thought I was at the corner. So I said, right. Well, she hesitated, but I said, right. Well, I was in the parking lot. I didn't know how to get out. I had no idea. I didn't have Be My Eyes or anything then. That was a while ago. But there's not, like I say, I just got my life back with Harper. I'm not afraid to go any place or do anything. So she's great. when you see someone with a service dog, please don't go running up and pet her. And I will say, most adults are the worst. You know, she's got a thing on that says, please don't pet me, I'm working. I have people, oh, she's so cute, Baba. What kind of work does she do? Well, she pulls bulldozers, but we're on our break. When you see us, acknowledge that you're there. Say person on your right or person on your left. And if you have a dog, please let me know you have a dog, because it's just easier for me. I don't want to be scared. If you scare the dog, she's liable to stop, and we walk at a fast pace. So if she stops quickly, I might end up on the ground, and I don't like to be on the ground. So just acknowledge that you're there. It's no big deal. Harper, hop up. Come on, hop up. Is there a table in front of us? Come on,
No.
let's go.
Nope.
Come on, hop up. You want to go outside? Okay, let's not go outside. But she will get me. All I have to do is say, when we're not working, she should be sitting. Sit. And then if I'm going to stay for a while, we'll lay down. And if I'm out to eat at a restaurant, and she'll sit under my chair. I pull the chair out, and she'll slide under it. Yeah. But I don't take her out. When I go out to dinner with family or friends, I don't take the dog. I know a lot of people don't want dog hair or dog around. And if I have an arm to hold on to, I don't need to take the dog.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Elsa and Chris and Paula, for being here. This was amazing.